This bow is a Bear 76er Deluxe, and I actually bought it in the fall of 1975. And I'm going to tell you all about this bow and why I bought this bow. But first, let's talk about how I started bow hunting in 1973 and why. Okay, in 1973, I was 14 years old. We had just moved to Forest City, a small town in northern Iowa. And I wanted to hunt. I was just ate up with everything to do with the outdoors, hunting, fishing, trapping. I just wanted to do it all. But I came from a family that didn't hunt. And my folks wouldn't let me own a gun. Now, they weren't opposed to guns, so to speak, but I think the thought of me with a gun was the problem. So anyway, I wanted to hunt. We had a guy in our church who sold archery equipment out of his garage. This was in 1973, and I wanted a deer hunt, so I bought a bow from him, and this is the Bear Kodiak Magnum, and this is a hunting bow. So in 1973, I bought the bow and I bought some arrows, but they had field tips on them, and they were cedar, they were wooden arrows. And so I went to the hardware store and I bought some broadheads. They were Zwicky broadheads, and you had to put them on the end of your arrow with glue. So I cut the field tips off the cedar arrows, and I stuck the arrows in a pencil sharpener and made the cone on them so I could glue the broadheads to them. And that's what I hunted with for the first couple of years. And I didn't kill anything. I only took one shot at a deer and missed the whole deer. And I didn't know anything about sitting in tree stands or anything like that. So I was just out. I'd go out after school and just walk around in the woods where I thought some deer would be. And I actually did get a shot at one, but fortunately I missed the whole deer. So that's the Bear Kodiak Magnum, 1973. So I hunted with that bow for a couple of years, and then in 1975 I was reading a magazine and I saw an ad for the Bear 76er, and this is a target bow, and we had just started a small club in this small town in Iowa where I lived. There was an archery club that started up, and they had weekly shoots where you could go and shoot bows with them, and they had, you know, just little tournaments and stuff like that. And so I wanted a target bow, and I had the money at the time because I was working a lot. I had 2 jobs. I was working at a meat market and grocery store part of the time, and then I was working at a local drugstore part of the time. In the summer I was baling hay and walking beans and working for farmers, and I always had money, so I was able to buy what I wanted, and I wanted this bow. I saw the ad in a magazine. It said the Bear 76er Deluxe, and it had a space age magnesium handle. And it was a takedown bow, which was just really kind of becoming the rage at the time. And I had to have it. So I went to Gerald Bowman and his garage and said, "Can you order me one of these?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can get you one of those." So he ordered me one, and I started being more involved in the club. And there was a guy in the club that had aluminum arrows. And he had bought new arrows, and he said, I have 6 arrows that'll work for your bow. I'll sell them to you for $5. So I bought those 6 aluminum arrows. It was the first time that I shot aluminum arrows, and that was in 1976. This bow was basically a celebration of our bicentennial in 1976, and this is what kids do to their bows. You can see I put a sticker on it there. I put a sticker on it there. Can you see that? Don't tread on me. I got my name on there. I see right here that I carved 300 into the bow, and apparently I must have had a perfect score at some point, because that's the perfect score, 300. And then it came with a 1-pin sight, and I put this tape along the side so I could mark like 5, 10, 15, 20 yards. You can't see the writing on it anymore. That's the 1-pin movable sight on this bow. 76er with the space age magnesium handle. So also in 76, I decided I'm going to get a lot more serious about this deer hunting. I really want to get a deer with a bow, and I've hunted for, I don't know, 4 years or something now, and only had the one shot. So I went out and I built some tree stands with 2x4s, and you know, you want to talk about tree stand safety. What we had for tree stand safety back then was you hung with one arm and 2 legs around a limb while you put the nails in your mouth, and then you hammered 2x4s into a tree, and that's how you put up a portable tree stand. They weren't very portable, of course. So also in 1976, I ordered one of the first compounds, and I ordered it out of Herter's magazine. Look at that. Look at that bow. Herter's Black Mountain Hunter. And that bow also has an aluminum handle. And look at that rest that's on there. That's been on there for a lot of years. And it's a 4-wheeler compound. This is 45-pound draw. And I actually ended up killing a lot of deer with this bow. Through the late 70s and into the 80s, I hunted with this bow, and I didn't put sights on it. I was hunting bear bow up until I think the late 80s, when I finally decided to go ahead and put sights on a bow. But all of these other bows that you saw me using, like the local tournaments and stuff like that, that was all bear bow. And I got pretty good. I could take a pop bottle cap and put it on a hay bale, and I could shoot it. I could hit it often enough that I felt like it was pretty good from 10 to 15 yards. But this 45-pound compound actually really started me on my way to actually killing some deer. And I don't know how many deer I actually shot with this bow, but it was quite a few, up until I went with a more modern bow, probably around 88 or 89. Meanwhile, in January of 1978, I had met this very pretty girl, and in April of 1979, she became my wife, and I should probably mention her because she has been very tolerant of my passion for bow hunting over the years. So that leads us to today, where I'm, of course, shooting the latest and greatest compound bows and fastest and whatever, and the right arrows and the right broadheads, and I've killed, I think, 120 deer with a bow probably, and 43 bears also, all with a bow. So here we are on the 250th birthday of our country, when 50 years ago the passion for bow hunting was going strong in the 1976 bicentennial, and that passion is just as strong today as it was 50 years ago, and I've still got the same wife too. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.